Yes, the candidates you've shown us so far have been quite impressive. But we want to make sure we've considered all our options before we make a purchase. Are you sure these are all the werewolves you have?
We didn't ask if these were all the ones suitable for us. We asked if these were all you had. We'll be the judge of whether or not they're suitable for us.
This one? They certainly seem worse for wear. I suppose that explains why you keep them in the back. They're not quite as eye-catching as the pups you have up front.
These scars aren't your doing, are they? Far be it from me to criticize your business practices, but punishing your stock to the point you have to hide them away like this seems a waste. They came from the werewolf fights?
Fascinating. You can't normally find retired gladiators on the market, and certainly not one this young. Half of the arenas put their retired fighters to the sword. I wonder why they sold this one.
What a miserable existence that must have been. Forced to fight to stay alive, only to be sold off to the whims of those who profited from your misery and left to rot in a cage.
I really am surprised no one bought you sooner, even with the scars. It's clear that you're strong.
And clear that you can take a beating. Brother, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I believe I am, sister.
Perfect.
We'll
take them. You heard us correctly. We'll be taking this one.
I believe we said earlier we'd be the judge of which werewolf was most suitable, and we've decided this one will do nicely. The only thing you have to do now is open the cage, give us the key to their shackles, and take our money. Unless you're doubting our judgment.
We thought not.
Come now. No need to be shy, pet. We don't bite.
Wait a moment. No need to drag them out. Listen, pet. You're welcome to stay in that cage if that's really what you want. We'd rather have a willing dog than a disobedient one, even if that collar on your neck means you can't leave us once we buy you. If you truly don't want to come with us, we'll pick one of the other werewolves and leave you be. But tell me, are you willing to risk no one else buying you? Are you content to spend the rest of your life in that cage? It would be a pathetic end to someone who fought as much as you did.
I'm glad you're being reasonable about this. Now let's see. The sign on the cage says this much, correct?
We've said twice now that this is the one we'd like to buy. I really am curious how you manage to stay open when you try and talk your customers out of their purchases. It seems counterproductive, unless you're put out that you weren't able to talk us into a more expensive choice.
Now, sister, I'm sure he just wants to make sure we leave happy. Clearly, he's used to people coming in without knowing what they want. We can't fault him that. Here, the price listed and a few coins extra. Consider it a sign of our gratitude for such thorough service.
The pleasure is all ours, but we'll still be needing their key.
Thank you.
Now come along, pet. We've got a long trip ahead of us, and we'd like to return before the sun comes up. Ugh! I was starting to think we'd never get out of there. I'm taking a bath as soon as we get home. That place was filthy.
It's just as well we wore these cloaks over our clothes. I'm sure the air in there was stagnant enough to stain them black. But maybe we shouldn't be surprised that a pig would spend so much time in a pigsty.
That's enough standing around, though. We can talk more on the way back to the carriage.
Indeed. Come along, pet. We would have preferred to leave the carriage closer to the market, but we didn't want to attract too much attention.
What do we mean? Tell us, Pat. Are you familiar with the Mircalla Coven?
We'll take that expression as a yes, then. Allow us to make a formal introduction regardless. I am Artem Mircalla.
And I am Celine Mircalla. A
pleasure to make your acquaintance.
You can understand now why we wanted to be discreet. There's no shortage of unsavory types here, and if they knew the heirs to the Mircalla Coven were out on their own, it would be tiresome.
We're not even supposed to be here, really. Our parents would throw a tantrum if they knew. But we weren't going to let them make a decision like this for us.
You see, ever since my brother and I came of age and became involved in the workings of the coven, our parents have been anxious.
There are perks to being set to inherit the continent's most powerful vampire coven, but it also means you gather enemies easily. And now that we're making our opinions known to the other covens, they worry that we're at risk.
Frankly, they're too paranoid. There's an army's worth of guards at our estate, and the two of us are more than capable of taking care of ourselves besides. But they still insisted we get a personal bodyguard.
Specifically, they insisted we choose a werewolf. You're very popular as guards among the nobility, you know?
It's not hard to see why. You're strong, you're durable, and you don't have any of the weaknesses a vampire does. Not to mention, you're very easy to train.
Why did we choose you?
It's true. We could have chosen any bright-eyed pup in that store. That shopkeep certainly would have preferred it, and it's not as though money was an issue.
But we chose you because you clearly have something they don't. Experience.
We aren't foolish enough to think you'd be a good bodyguard solely because you're a werewolf. We wanted someone who knew how to fight from the start, and it's obvious to anyone with eyes that you know how to fight.
We may not be in as much danger as our parents seem to think, but their fears aren't entirely unfounded. There are plenty of vampires who would love to dispose of us before we take over the coven.
And that number will only grow once we do take control of it. We can't waste time training an inexperienced pup.
We don't know how long you were in that cage, so we need to make sure your skills are still sharp.
We'll warn you now. The guards training you won't kill you, but they won't hold back. And more than one of them has a taste for werewolf blood, so we suggest you fight them seriously.
Please don't look so grim. Even with the training, we're confident you'll find this life much better than your last.
Indeed. We're not planning to throw you in a kennel whenever you aren't with us. You'll be given quarters of your own, good food, clean clothes, and even a few coins to spend on whatever you wish. You can't leave the state without us, of course, but you can always send one of the staff into town.
Honestly, this is positively lavish compared to your previous life. Plenty would kill to be in your place.
Of course, you're not getting this for nothing. You did choose to come out of that cage, so we expect your utmost loyalty.
You'll be with us every time we leave the estate, and anytime we have important guests visiting. You'll have to be on your guard constantly.
And of course, if you were to fail in your duties, whether on accident or because you were hoping to escape somehow, our parents would see your head mounted on a pike, assuming they were feeling merciful enough to kill you quickly.
What a serious expression. You aren't having second thoughts, are you?
I hope not. It's too late for you to... Pet, come here and hold out your arms. We were going to leave those on until we were in the carriage, but it seems as though you'll be starting your training sooner than expected.
You can step out from those trees. We already know you're there.
Leave one of them alive, Pet. We need to question them.
And don't think you'll get any help from us. You'll need to be able to do at least this much as our bodyguard. If they kill you, then you wouldn't have been a good fit for the role anyway. I knew you were a good choice. Even our guards couldn't have handled them that quickly. Whoever ran that arena really was a fool for selling you.
Ease up on their throat a bit. They need to be able to speak.
All right, dog. Who sent you?
You're a terrible liar. We weren't even sure if someone did send you, but getting so defensive makes it obvious. This will be easier for all of us if you answer honestly.
The hard way it is, then. Pet, you decide. How would you like to make them talk?
Would you like to rethink your answer? Or do you need to lose the other ear as well? Of course. That miserable pig. You shouldn't have given him those extra coins, brother. It made him greedy.
Can you blame me? I would have given him the whole bag if it meant he stopped talking.
I suppose I can't blame you, no. His voice was grating, and I suppose it wouldn't be fair to blame you either. You were hardly in a position to refuse an order from the one with the key to your freedom.
That doesn't mean we're going to let you go, you silly thing. Would you like to do the honors, sister?
It's hardly an honor for trash like them, but I suppose I could use the practice. Change back and hold their head, Pet. Now look at me, dog. Listen carefully. You're going to change back, pick up your partner's corpse, and carry it back to the market. You're going to go back to your owner, toss that body at his feet, and tell him that if he ever thinks of robbing us again, we'll hunt him down and bleed him like the pig he is. Once you've done that, cut your throat with your claws. We want to make sure he gets the message the first time.
You can let them go now.
Yes, I could have just compelled them to tell the truth earlier, but what would have been the fun in that?
Besides, we didn't need to make sure you wouldn't hesitate to injure someone if we asked. We doubted you would, considering your background, but it never hurts to be sure. And like Celine said, this is much more entertaining.
Indeed. You did wonderful for your first fight, Pet. Come here.
Good dog. I think you deserve a reward. Sister, what do you say we let them choose what they'll have for dinner tonight?
That's a wonderful idea, brother. Think it over on the way home, Pet, and please don't hold back. We can get whatever you'd like, and have it ready by the time you've had a bath.
Of course. We know your life before this must have been hard, but you're ours now.
Keeping us safe is your responsibility, but taking care of you is ours. And we plan to take very good care of you.